Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
That was close. I nearly had you on video call there.
Is that right?
Oh, wouldn't want that.
No, you certainly didn't want that.
Yeah. Is somebody shouting in the background there?
No, it's my wife that's sneezing very loudly in another room.
That's amazing.
That shows you the amount of dust and sawdust and everything that's down the stairs in there. So there you go, that's hilarious. Oh my god. That's funny. Did you hear that?
Oh.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself.
Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the next season of the iReady podcast. Yes, season 10. We've been going at it now. This is our 10th year of doing this. Unbelievable. I just can't believe how we've lasted this long, Dave. I can't believe I'm still speaking to you.
You sound like my wife, Derek.
How are you doing anyway, Dave, since the last spoke?
I'm very well, Derek. I've been away, surprisingly. I've been away on holiday, Derek. But no, back to the grind, looking forward to the season, which we've just spoke about before we started recording, is coming around very, very quickly.
Yes, I can't believe that. We've obviously had a few friendly games which we'll cover, but it's coming up 8 weeks since our last competitive game, and it doesn't feel like that. It's just flew by.
No, definitely, Derek. But like I say, we're ready to go. We've got a lot to talk about, haven't we? And I can't wait for the season to start.
Yes. So there's a few changes going to be happening on the pod. iReady Towers is moving slightly. I am getting moved closer to the garage now because we're moving it downstairs. So that's going to be in the next couple of weeks. I'll be moving all that. Dave, weirdly, is going to be taking a more active role in covering the games as well. He is going to be doing less work in a way as well, though, because he's dropping the classic match because I think it's run its course, Dave, hasn't it?
I think after 10 years, Derek, it was great covering some of the marquee matches. It was really, for me, great looking back. I've been finding myself going back and looking at more sort of routine matches from days gone past. So I think, I'm sure in a couple of years' time, Derek, with the European exploits the last few seasons, I'll be happy to go back and cover them. But I will be taking a more active role in the actual matches that we will be playing coming up in the next few weeks and months.
Yeah, so more dulcet tones from Dave in that respect.
Yep.
You know, if Europe doesn't go to plan this year, we might just end up doing the classic match and covering last year's games anyway.
Exactly, Derek, yes.
Yes, and bigger news from my point of view, which I don't know how much it's going to impact the pod, is my wife is pregnant, so I've got a new wee one coming along at the end of this calendar year, so I don't know how much I will get to see football from then on, but we'll try and keep the pod going as best as we can.
Yep, congratulations again, mate, and I'm sure all the listeners will be wishing you exactly the same. Yeah, I'm not going to turn around to tell you that things are going to be easier because they're not, but I'm sure you'll love every minute of it regardless. So well done, mate. Congratulations.
Cheers, Dave.
Here's me try to be nice as well. Eh?
I know. So we may as well crack on and go down the tunnel and onto the pitch. Yes, I got it right the first time.
Well done. Yep.
Yeah, it's only taken 10 years. So, we've got a lot to talk about because we may as well start at the transfers, Dave. It's been extremely active.
It really has been, Derek. We were going a few weeks. The Twitter was going mad because there had been absolutely no movement whatsoever. All the Rangers dads were on venting their anger for the lack of activity. And then all of a sudden, the last few weeks, it's been absolutely constant, hasn't it, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where Rangers Twitter needs to calm down a wee bit because Ross Wilson was getting called every name under the sun about the lack of transfer activity, and he says, "Oh, this is why we got put out of the Champions League last year." And look what's happened. Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, definitely, Derek. Yep.
So we really probably better start at the outgoings first, because that's really what sparked this whole transfer activity. Some outstanding bit of business as well. Disappointed to see some of them leave, but you've got to be delighted with what's happened, transpired anyway. However, outgoings was Cedric Itten. Went to BSC Young Boys for an undisclosed fee. That was, I think it's been now disclosed as about £1.5 million. A rather strange one, I thought. Leon Balogun got released at the end of his contract. Disappointed to see him go, Dave.
Yeah, and Derek, I get the feeling that if there was a contract offered, they would have stayed. So, and a steady defender for us, Derek, wasn't he? Played some key games for us, some excellent performances. So, I, like yourself, a wee bit puzzled with that one.
Yeah, I think maybe his age was maybe playing a part into that as well. But certainly what we've got in place of him is maybe justified then. Yep. Andy Firth went to Connah's Quay Nomads. It was just at the end of his contract as well. Yep. Lewis Mayo went on loan to Kilmarnock. Jake Hasty is another one. He went out to Hartlepool United. That was for an undisclosed fee. Disappointed as well, because he came, setting the world alight at Motherwell. Yeah. It really just never worked out for him here.
No, didn't. No.
And the first of the big ones, Joe Aribo, went to Southampton for an undisclosed fee. So he apparently had a £10 million release fee clause in his contract. I don't think we got the full 10 million up front, but I think from what I understand, we got something like, was it 6 million up front, and then the rest was made on add-ons and a 10% clause as well. So really can't be disappointed with that.
Disappointed because he's a big player for us, Derek. We've got to remember how much we actually paid for him, but a player that we will, the man that scored in the final, and had some absolutely fantastic performances for us when we won the league, scored a lot of important goals for us. So really sorry to see Big Joe go, but we knew it was going to happen at some stage, a Premiership club, and as you say, Derek, quite a good fee for him as well. So we wish him all the best.
Absolutely. Kai Kennedy went out on loan to Falkirk. Josh McPake went out on loan to Queen's Park. And the massive one here, again, really disappointed to see him leaving, but we wish him all the best. And we really can't argue with what we got, because Calvin Bassey went to Ajax for a fee of around £19.6 million, plus add-ons, plus a sell-on clause as well. Absolutely incredible bit of business.
Now, Derek, are you sure it's 19 million? Because there's all these Celtic fans on saying that we only got about £6 million for him. So, yeah, are you quite sure about that?
I'm 100% positive, because Ajax said it themselves,
Yes, they did, yeah. As you said, Derek, the second half of last season, the man was absolutely immense, especially in Europe. That final, he was the best player on the park. So, a colossus for us last season. As you say, sorry to see the guy go, but you get an opportunity like that to go. He's away to an absolutely massive club, and we get a huge fee for basically a guy, Derek, who was our second choice left back at the start of the season, or the last season as well. So it's an absolutely fantastic piece of business. It gets money in the bank. It helps us strengthen the team, and again, another young man who absolutely praised the club and the fans, and he'll be welcome back any time, and we really do wish him all the best in the future. I'm sure he'll go and smash it.
Shoulders back, smash it.
Regardless, and you'll find he'll be playing in the Premiership for one of the big guns soon, and he'll go for an astronomical amount of money. But as you say, we've got a good add-on for him, so whatever money he does go for, we're still going to be making it out of it. So great piece of business by the club.
Yes, I mean, I think that ended up being second or third highest transfer Ajax have ever paid, and it's certainly the highest transfer fee they've paid for a defender. So that shows you what they see in him as well. They're paying for his potential. And kind of going on last season, when you really look at it, we only got 6 months out of him. If you really want to see that, we only got 6 months out of him. Yes, he was a good bit part player from the previous time we had him, but that 6 months is when he really showed what he was like, especially in that final. And there's two players we paid just over a £500,000 between Aribo and Bassey. And now we've made nearly £40 million off them. That is something, that is a piece of business that is worldly.
And again, add on the money that we got for Patterson as well, Derek.
Yes.
For another guy who, played about six or seven games, really, for the first team, quite a lot of subs appearances. So that is just incredible piece of business that we're getting that amount of money for our players. It shows us how far we've come and the level that we're playing at now, Derek. So good to see, and like I said, nothing but the best for these guys that have went.
So, in that respect, it's fueled the transfer activity, because it's been nothing short of relentless the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we had already known about John Souttar coming in on a free transfer from Hearts, so certainly if he can stay injury-free, he'll be a good signing.
Fantastic signing, I think, Derek,
Yep. And then we signed Antonio Čolak from PAOK Salonika. That was for £1.8 million. He's a striker. Tom Lawrence from Derby County, that was on a free transfer because his contract had run out, I think, as well. Rabi Matondo from Schalke, that's £2.5 million. Malik Tillman from Bayern Munich, that's a season-long loan with the exclusive option to buy at the end of that. Ben Davies from Liverpool, that's a £3 million signing. And then today's signing is Ridvan Yilmaz from Besiktas, and that's a £3.4 million signing. So, preface this with every signing, it doesn't matter who you are. We've just seen last year a world-class player is always going to be a risk. So every player is going to be a risk, but what is different about this season is maybe we've not heard a lot about them, but they certainly came with a pedigree with a lot of teams after them, a lot of EPL teams after these players, a lot of European teams after them, but we've identified positions that were needing strengthening in, and we've went out and got these players. That is the big difference this year, rather than just saying, no, we're just going to sign somebody who comes up, as we've done in the last couple of seasons, I think. I'm excited about this.
Definitely, Derek. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that I know anything about the vast majority. We know about Čolak because he played against us when we played Malmo and got knocked out of the Champions League. He was outstanding against us. And really, the only player we certainly know of Ben Davies, because he's been playing down south and signed for Liverpool, but unfortunately for him, didn't get any game time for Liverpool. But he's been out on loan in the Championship, played absolutely fantastic. But the one that I had heard of that I knew we were getting a really, really good player, Derek, was Tom Lawrence, that Derby captain. And a guy who, in any time I watched any games on Sky, was always the guy that was going for shots outside the box, every single opportunity he got. So when we signed him, I thought to myself, here we're actually going to get somebody that's going to attempt to shoot at goal. And we'll get into the games, the pre-season games soon, but he's certainly not disappointed. The rest of the players, Derek, are all coming with reputations. Matondo playing in the Bundesliga, and of course Tillman, he's played in the Champions League for Bayern Munich as well. So, these are guys I really, really looking forward to see what these guys can do, Derek. And exactly like what you said, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has went out to strengthen areas of the field that he, to go into his system, areas of the field that he thinks that we needed to strengthen. And think things at this moment in time, Derek, are looking excellent. And we keep saying it, but I'm really, really looking forward to the season start so we can actually get a really good look at these guys.
Yes. Another couple of signings for the academy as well. Now, Dave, some of these names are like, see the generated players you get in Football Manager. Some of their names are like that. But they're all aged between 15 and 17. Some of them come with a pedigree. We've went slightly different because we've went for the best of what we can get in our own leagues and in the English leagues, it seems, as well. So they've got Cameron Cooper, Suleiman Mande, Mason Munn, Paul Nisso, I think that's how you pronounce it, Kieran Wilcox, Bailey Rice, Archie Stevens, Cameron Bell, Zach Lovelace, who was a 16-year-old for Millwall, made first team appearances there, comes with a good reputation, Connor Young, and my favourite of the names, Lancelot Pollard.
What a name, Derek. That's a superstar if ever I've heard one there.
Exactly.
Fantastic name.
Who the fuck's called Lancelot these days? But, I hope the guy does brilliant anyway. Superb. Another thing, though, as well, is we managed to extend contracts of a couple of players. So Steve Davis and Alan McGregor extended. Now, I can understand the Steve Davis one. You need to have the kind of experience in there.
Yeah.
As long as he's not, certainly you've seen last year, he wasn't starting games. He was coming on halfway through games when they were already done, or if we're needing a wee bit of dig out in midfield. McGregor, I really can't understand that. I really hope, and I think what I'm going to say mirrors pretty much every single Rangers fan out there is they hope he's not number one, because I think that's a kick in the teeth to McLaughlin for a start. But I think what we've seen is McGregor is, as much as he can pull out the worldie shot stops, there's a certain things he can't do, like come for cross balls, come out of his area and chase the ball, things like that. I think we've seen that in the difference between when McLaughlin was in, he was actually coming for the ball. He was catching cross balls. McGregor wasn't doing that.
Yep. No, I think the vast majority of us were surprised at that one, Derek. I'm seeing it as that McGregor is going to be stepping back and being the deputy for McLaughlin. I certainly hope so, and that's no any slight on what Alan McGregor has done for us over the years, definitely not. But exactly like what you said, Derek, he's getting to the tight time in his career where, you know, things are starting to go a lot slower, and McLaughlin has been an able deputy to him for the last few years, so really hoping that he gets his chance now. But we'll have to wait and see. What do we know, Derek?
Why, exactly. The next one here, and I know both of us have criticised him before, but I think it's maybe past the point of that now. Tavernier has signed on till 2026, so that'll be him at the club for over 10 years. He's due a testimonial. When's the last time that's ever happened? Incredible. Exactly.
Quite incredible. Derek, we have given him his fair share of criticism over the years, but I think both of us over the last two seasons have been, praising him to the heavens, because he's had arguably his best two seasons in a Rangers shirt the last two seasons. So he's going to be signing a new contract. I think we all know how much the club means to him. I think it was a no-brainer for him. So here's hoping that he keeps on improving and going out and, you know, playing really well for us. But you know, he's certainly been a great player for us. Even in the last two seasons, he's been excellent.
Yes, absolutely. And the one that came out today as well, and pretty exciting news as well, is that Gio is hopeful that Morelos is going to be signing a new contract as well. So certainly he's got more than enough time left in his career. If he wants to make another couple of years here, he's still got a couple of big signings out of him in his career. So he seems to be settled here. He enjoys playing here. Certainly he's going to be out till September, at least by the sound of it as well. So I'm not going to say he owes us anything, but it'd be great to see if he does sign. Controversial opinion from myself here, but I almost think sometimes as a team we play better without him. And I know, Dave, you're a big fan, and I'm a big fan. He's cut all of his shit out of his game as well.
Yep.
But I think certainly from what we've seen last year, we do play rather one system when he's in the team. Is it going to be a case of we've signed the new players, regardless if he's going to sign anyway, we've got enough firepower up front to play two, he's just going to need to get used to that, maybe two up front?
I don't think we will be, Derek. I think that Gio is setting the team out for two wingers. I think he's going to have Matondo one side, Kent on the other, and obviously I think that Alfredo, if he's fit, is going to be the main striker, with Cholak coming in for a lot of games, you know, especially cup games coming on if we're toiling in matches and stuff like that. I think the big difference that we're going to see this year is from the midfield. I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored from midfield. Derek, I love the man. There's no, there's no secret I've got going about him all the time. I understand what you're saying, that we kind of rely a wee bit too much on him when he's playing, but when he is on his game, he's unstoppable. And I get a wee sneaky suspicion that he's desperate to play in the Champions League with Rangers, Derek, since he's our all-time top European goal scorer. He's wanting to try and prove himself in the Champions League, and, you know, fingers crossed he'll get the chance to do it this season. He's also, you know, wife and child, maybe settled here as well. You know, we don't know the personal details, but I, for one, will be dancing on the ceiling if he signs a new contract, because I just think he's fantastic. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Fingers crossed that he does.
Oh, what a feeling!
I'm desperate for you to add that when you're doing the editing, by the way. The one player that you've not mentioned that's left, which is maybe quite an eye opener, on loan, was our other Colombian who has went out on loan to Falkirk with Kai Kennedy.
Oh yeah,
Juan Alegre.
Yeah, I found it kind of a strange one. It's a bit annoying as well because we seem to be getting good players in. They play well in the B team, and then we're farming them out on loan. And I can understand the point of it from a view of getting them up to speed and up to a level where they're going to be playing regularly against a bigger opposition. But I would like to see them kind of try to bleed through to the first team, and we are seeing obviously a few breaking into the first team, but I don't know, it's one of these things, I suppose, in football, isn't it?
I think with him especially, Derek, the route that he's came into professional football was very similar to Alfredo's. You know, he went from Colombia over to Finland, broke into the first team, and I think we thought we were maybe getting another, I'll not say another player like Alfredo, because I think he's, I don't think he's an out-and-out striker, the guy, but I think we thought they were maybe going to get a player in the same type of mould as him, the background. Unfortunately, it's not worked out for him. He went out on loan to Partick Thistle. I don't think he'd done much there. But certainly, for everything we've heard about him, the talent's definitely there. He's maybe just needing to go to another club and, see how it goes. So he's down the road at Falkirk along with Kai Kennedy, who's another player we've been hearing a lot about that guy. So I think Falkirk have maybe got themselves two quality players from us, and I just hope the two of them do well.
Yep. So that leads us now going into the pre-season friendly game. So Dave, I don't know how much you've watched of these. I've only seen a couple of the games, but we'll talk about them anyway. Mm-hmm. The first one was Saturday the 9th of July. It was in Portugal versus Sunderland. It was 0-0 at half time, and that's where the game ended because there was a power cut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I never watched the half. From what I hear, we weren't that good.
No, but, and we were actually getting beat, Derek. It was 1-0 with Sunderland.
Oh, was it 1-0 with Sunderland? Oh, well.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll take it at 0-0 then because it was abandoned. So.
Yeah, we can't really comment on that one, Derek. I think it was a wee bit of a farce there. So we had to wait till there was, the next game's coming up before we could assess any of the new players.
Yeah, I think people who actually did watch the game had a bit of an issue as well, even watching the game, because Premier Sports, who were covering the Runner Rangers friendlies, their power went out as well, I think, so yep. Signal was lost, so people never even got to see that then. I meant to say, before that though, we did have a bounce game against Partick Thistle, and we run out 3-2 winners there. That was just at the Rangers Training Centre, where Lundstrom, Sakala and McPake scored. Yep. So a wee run out for players there. Yep. The next game, Dave, it's one of your favourites, was against Blackpool. It was on Saturday the 16th of July. It was in Blackpool, and we were run out 2-1 winners. I didn't see the game, Dave, did you?
Yes, I watched the game, Derek. Quite disappointing for me, because that was the game this time last year. I travelled down to Blackpool hoping we were going to play them, and I obviously got called off because of Blackpool having COVID. So this was that rearranged fixture, Derek, that we played there, and an absolutely fantastic turnout for the Rangers support down in Blackpool. Absolutely tremendous stuff. Everybody looked as if they had a great time. And, Derek, it was their first pre-season match. A wee bit rusty, but the main thing was that we came out sort of 2-1 winners. We were winning 2-0 at one stage. Blackpool scored right at the end, so maybe the score line flattered Blackpool a wee bit, because we were certainly the better team.
Okay. Next game was Tuesday the 19th of July. It was at Ibrox versus West Ham, and we ran out 3-1 winners. Very, very good performance, with Tom Lawrence scoring on the 48th, Ryan Kent on the 49th, Rabbi Matondo on the 58th, before West Ham pulled a goal back shortly after. It was a great run out from all the players. It was 0-0 at half time, and then we made was it a triple sub, and that's when Tom Lawrence came on, and he ran the show for about 10 minutes,
Absolutely
didn't he?
Brilliant, Derek. I was lucky. I managed to get a ticket at the last minute for me and my son, so we were there sitting in the Copeland Road, quite near the front, so we managed to get a great view of all three goals. First half, pretty stuffy. There wasn't much going on by both teams, but the substitutions certainly worked. And like I said about Tom Lawrence, Derek, what a debut to make, to come, to play and within 13 minutes score and set up the other two. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. Really impressed with the guy, really impressed with Matondo. And another player that was really impressed with when he came on, Derek, was James Sands. I thought he had an excellent game. So against West Ham, who had their first team playing, let's be honest, it wasn't a weakened team. it was an excellent performance the second half and an excellent result. And every Rangers fan that left that day were feeling really, really hopeful for the games coming up.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with the pre-seasons is I've seen people do their dinger. I know we lost, we never played well. Pre-seasons have never been about, the result. It's always been about getting minutes and legs, trying out a few different formations, trying out a few different tactics, and making sure the team get a good run out. That was the main thing. And not only that, is we put in a great performance in the second half. We got the result, and we got players a good run out. So that's what you're really hopeful for. And I think it's no more seen than in the next game, which was Saturday the 23rd of July at Ibrox again, played Tottenham, where we lost 2-1. But despite the loss, it was another very good showing. Again, we're up against a team worth hundreds of millions of pounds. I think the front three alone were worth £150 million plus. And we were really only undone by 2 world-class goals by Kane. We went a goal up in the 24th minute with Cholak scoring. However, Kane on the 50th minute with a wonder goal, and then again 6 minutes later with a great finish. However, the control, the vision and the layoff by Son was just sublime to get the second goal. It wasn't actually Kane that was the better player in that one there. Conte was full of praise for us. He actually did come out and say he wanted to play us in the pre-season as he knew that we were a proper footballing team who would give them a game, and that's what it was. There was at times we were ripped apart. Their right winger, I think, got well into the box on our left-hand side, and he switched it over to his left foot for some daft reason. Had he shot it with his right foot, it probably would have burst the net. Failings on their part, we got away with a couple, but it showed you the difference in class, but it also shows you where we've got to work on, which is again part of the thing with pre-season friendlies.
Yeah, it was, Derek. I was quite disappointed because I can't stand Tottenham. I never have, so I was quite annoyed that we got beat. But hats off to them. After Rangers scored, because I think we were playing really well up until we scored, funnily enough, and then Tottenham took control after that. So some excellent play by them. As you say, 2 fantastic goals by Kane, absolutely outstanding. We were really unlucky though at the end. I spoke about him just a second ago. James Sands had a great game against West Ham. He had a howler of a miss from about 3 yards out. All he had to do was just head it past the keeper, point blank, hit it with his head straight into the keeper's arms right at the end of the game. So could have been a wee draw in the end, Derek, but another, as you say, a great test for us, especially when we've got this big game in Europe coming up and we're playing against a top team. So, we've got to be satisfied with certain performances, just a wee bit annoyed with the result, because regardless if it's a friendly or no, I don't like to see us getting beat, definitely not, but we'll take that one in the chin.
Yep, and we also had a bounce game at the day later. That was at the Rangers Training Centre again. We ran out 3-2 winners against Queen's Park, and that was largely the players that never played against Tottenham or West Ham as well. So delighted with that. So that now leads us into the games that are coming up, which we kick off Saturday at 12 p.m. and that's against Livingston for the opening game of the Premiership season. A difficult place to go straight away.
Certainly is, Derek. It's always a hard game, but touch wood, we've got a good record at Livingston, so here's hoping it stays. We keep going. I'm sure the new players that are in the team will be desperate to make their mark very quickly. So, like I said, Derek, I'm just looking forward to it. It'll be a big test, but going into it full of confidence.
Absolutely. And then the big one, the Champions League qualifying round 3, leg 1. It's away the first leg, which is always good, and that is on Tuesday the 2nd of August against Union Saint-Gilloise. I think that's how you pronounce their name. So they're in the Belgian league. Dave can't say anything much about them other than the fact that they actually topped the league last year up until it went to the playoff place, and they lost out in the playoffs. It was a 6-leg playoff they play in Belgium, apparently.
All right. Certainly, it's a good standard of league, Derek. I think hopefully our previous games, against Liège, stand us in good stead for that. We'll know the sort of type of football that they play. Hopefully the scouts and the coaching staff have a good idea of get their tactics spot on for for that one. That's a huge game. I would like us to go out and try and score when we're over there to bring something back to Ibrox. And get the fans back in for that one and raise the roof for the second leg.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We've become a master of the two-legged tie, especially when it's the away leg first. Know that the away goals count again this season, but it's just great coming back to Ibrox for the second leg. We know how much pressure we can put them under, especially when the fans play their part as well, because the atmospheres in Ibrox last season were phenomenal.
Yep.
Next game after that is Saturday the 6th of August. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, and that's at home to Kilmarnock. Then it's the return leg on Tuesday the 9th of August, and again that's at Ibrox. So all to play for. As always, need to get the campaign off to a good start, especially in Europe as well. We want to get to that playoff round. Granted, it doesn't make any difference technically because we're going into the Europa League group stages anyway, I believe, even if we get put out at this stage of the Champions League, but we want the Champions League this year. It's changing after next year as well, so that the third place doesn't drop down. So ideally what we want is a really good showing in the Champions League, glamourtise, try and keep the coefficient up as well, and we get that, if we can't qualify out of it, get the third place and then have a potential good run in the Europa League again. That's all you can hope for, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think, Derek, our sort of attitude and mindset, I'm hoping, has changed, especially when it comes to Europe. I'm really hoping that we manage to, professionally see our way through and get into the Champions League group stages. I'm honestly, I don't care who we get. I think possibly the more well-known team, the better for us. But we'll just have to wait and see. As you say, all is not lost if we don't make it, because we know that we can go very far in the Europa League. So, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. These first two games are crucial, and then we'll see who we get in the draw after that, hopefully, to get us into the Champions League.
Yes. So just cover a wee bit of quick news before we wrap this up here, is that it looks as if that VAR is going to be coming in within the next couple of weeks, because they've had a weird change of heart. I don't know why this has happened now. It was meant to be coming in the closed season during the World Cup in November, but they've decided to bring it much forward to the second game of the season. So that'll be a very interesting one to see.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well, Derek. I think we've all been crying out for it for a long time, so we'll wait and see what it brings. There'll be a lot of controversy with that, no doubt, but it's something that we all have been wanting for quite some time, so look forward to that.
Yep. And much like you can only piss with the dick you've got, you can only run it with the dicks you've got in charge of it anyway, so we'll see how that works out,
Exactly.
Another interesting thing here is Gordon Ramsay was at the training centre again.
Yes.
So Rangers were putting out a few videos, some quite funny videos as well. And Gio met him, he was saying, as everybody, he was talking to the kitchen staff, you scared of him, which was funny. And even Tavernier calling him Mr. Gordon. That was a highlight there.
And a good touch by Rangers as well to give him the Chef Ramsay Rangers shirt as well, which I think was excellent. So it's good to get sort of high profile fans in also to see it, because it does bring a lot of publicity as well. So good stuff.
I mean, that's the thing, you're saying high profile. He's probably the most famous and probably the best chef in the world, and he's stretching this year. He was a former player of ours. That's what's absolutely mental about that. So always good to see him back in Ibrox or in the training centre. And Dave, this one kind of blew my mind, but BBC have conceded the battle and have actually apologised to Rangers. I never thought I'd see the day, Dave.
No, Derek, as you say, quite rightly, conceded there. We held strong right the way through it. And I think the bosses maybe down south have told them to get their act together, get a wee apology going, because they want to get back in to Ibrox. So, Rangers are very gracious in the way that, that they've done it. They've accepted the apology and things are back to normal. Again, absolutely hilarious from the hordes on the other side of the city, some of the comments that they've had ever since then. But it will be interesting to see if Chris McLaughlin or what's his name, Michael Stewart are anywhere near Ibrox, I have a funny feeling they won't be, Derek. I think there'll be new reporters that will be getting sent to Ibrox. It won't be any one of them, but we've got to move on, Derek. I'm glad it has happened. I'm glad that Rangers did take a stand against them, but I prefer us to be getting covered nationally. And it'll be good, if we're actually watching sports, for them to actually be able to interview a player and the manager after the game. So it's been a long time, but I'm glad that Rangers stood firm, and they have came out and apologised for their errors in the past, which were absolutely nothing to do with us. So very surprised, exactly the same as you were, Derek.
Yeah, so I think there's a new head of sporting division or somebody like that in charge of them now. So it's maybe the sea change that we've been needing. So I'm delighted for that. And, I don't care if you're, I think it's been highlighted in other podcasts as well. See the likes of Clyde, they're a private company. They get to do what they want. They quite clearly show their allegiances to one side of the divide. That's absolutely fine. You've got the choice of not listening to them and not subscribing to them. When it's the national broadcaster, that's slightly different because we're all forced to pay for it. Every single thing should be on the level, unbiased and fair. That's what it hasn't been for a number of years now, which is the whole crux of the matter. So I'm glad hopefully it's sorted out now. They were back at Ibrox for the friendlies there as well, I believe. So good to see. And I'll be interested in listening to commentary on BBC when I can't get to a TV, and they'll actually be not watching Sky commenting the game now.
Exactly, so, Derek. Yep, exactly.
Yep. So 20-year-old man from Switzerland was recently admitted to intensive care because he masturbated so hard that his lungs started crunching.
You never fail to surprise me, Derek, right on you go.
The unnamed individual got himself down to Cantonal Hospital in the city of Winterthur after a particularly strenuous tug left him experiencing chest pain and shortness of breath. Doctors carried out x-rays and discovered that the man was suffering from spontaneous pneumomatocystium, I don't know if that's being pronounced right, a condition which air leaks from the lungs and gets trapped inside the ribcage. The results of the Swiss man's quite frankly mind-blowing wank were documented in May edition of Radiology Case Reports Journal. According to the study, he was left with crackling sounds all the way from his neck to his elbows. What the fuck's he been doing, Dave?
A particularly strenuous tug.
Apparently the condition is defined as free air within the mediastinum not associated with trauma. Causes include exercise, drugs, asthma, vomiting, difficult labour, Valsalva manoeuvres,
and having a wank.
And having a wank now, if they can put down in the journal. That'll be a new one. The man even was rushed to ICU to be given oxygen because his breathing was so limited. In other words, his beans were well and truly blown. What's more, his frenzied hand shandying left his face swollen and air was found trapped all the way up to the bottom of his skull.
I still prefer the particularly strenuous tug.
So, on that note, we will end the podcast.
Yes.
So I'm going to be trying to make a few changes to the website. I know it's never updated, which is the reason why I'm going to try and make some changes. And we'll try and get the podcast out a wee bit more regularly than we have been doing, especially towards the end of last year with my medical episodes. So
no, definitely. These things can't be helped, though, Derek. There's certain things in life that put prevalence, but we will endeavour to become more regular, so be it. Says the man in the prune juice. But we'll try and be more regular, shorter pods if possible, and just trying to concentrate more on the main content that's happening with the club. So,
so some things that can't be helped: Derek's medical conditions and Dave's holidays.
See, I knew you would get that wee dig in there. I knew that.
Always
help yourself, eh?
Yes.
Can't help yourself.
So, thanks for listening and goodbye.
We'll be back soon, folks. Goodbye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself.